of the Empire State Building.
John, pleasure. When I see you or Jim Cantor show up at a location, I know it's not good at first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're one of two people that has that power in you. Do you even recognize that type of power you have?
I do now, but it took me years to figure that out, honestly, Garrett. To me, I was just a bar guy.
Right.
I had a good reputation. I was certainly successful at it, but TV gives you this presence, this bigger than life power, this commandingness, if you will. But the great part of that is it allows you to influence people greater.
Now,
you can have a greater impact on people. So, I use that to my advantage in trying to educate people and grow the people around me.
Now, of course, we're talking about the new season of Bar Rescue, Paramount Plus 2. Looking at what you've done for businesses just in general, pre-pandemic and now post-pandemic, or it's weird saying the word post and pre, whatever, but where do you have like a Mount Rushmore of accomplishments of bars that, you look back and that's the story you tell when you're sitting at the bar going, hey, there's this place that's near and dear to my heart that I still look at as like my child. Do you have that Mount Rushmore of your accomplishments over the years?
I do. I have a bunch of childs, if you will, out there. But there's a couple that really stand out to me. Spirits on Bourbon is one, Garrett, that is very powerful to me. They were failing. We created the Resurrection, the only blue cocktail on Bourbon Street. And when we left, their sales went up $1.5 million a year, 8 years ago, and have held. Last year, they sold 18,000 Resurrections a month. They had to buy a warehouse in Baton Rouge to store all the mug cups that the drinks come in. And it's a great story of two great partners who were in a bad place, good people in a bad place. The other one that really is an important one to me is Characters. And Characters was in South Carolina, and it was a family-owned operation, a mother, a father, and 2 children. And they were all at odds with each other. They were losing a fortune. And I was able to change their concept, get them on a path, and they're franchising now and have food truck programs now. And so some of them are really exciting to watch. But, I'm proud to say most of them have been pretty darn successful.
Do you have that one like child in the family that no one wants to talk about? Bruno, staying topical right now, where it's like, oh yeah, let's.
There's a couple of those, Headhunters comes to mind, the old line is, and I don't want to insult you, the old line is sometimes you can't fix stupid, right?
You're right.
Bar Rescue is almost like I give you a brand new boat, Garrett. I fix it. It's beautiful, big engines. I give you a great map, and then I send you out and you drive it into a reef. I can't stop you from doing that.
You can only do so much. You can only bring the horse to water, as they say.
Now,
looking at where we are in the landscape of the world, knowing how Bar Rescue was and coming in and trying to helping people out, is this season more about just trying to help people resurrect their business, or is it kind of still the same concept of they just don't have direction? Or please tell us about it.
That's a great question. Last year, we were in Las Vegas during COVID when the shutdowns and shuts were going on. And it was very difficult for me to blame failure on the owner in that environment. Now, I hate to use the term again, post-COVID, but now sort of post-COVID, if you will, restaurant revenues nationally are up 20% over pre-COVID levels.
Wow.
So we were all talking, would they come back? Would there be a pent-up demand, et cetera? Well, you know what, Gary? They came back. So 20% higher. So the revenue and the business opportunity is out there. On the other side of the coin, as you know, we're having a hard time getting our employees back.
Right.
Our inflation is impacting our costs very, very much. We have to keep raising prices and pass those costs on to customers. But those are solvable problems. There's ways to get employees in the door. There's ways to keep them. There's ways to adjust prices. So I look at this season as my most aggressive ever because the revenue opportunity is out there, Garrett. They can be successful, but I got to push them to get them there. And I'm pushing pretty hard this year.
Now, for you, over the last 2 years, have you seen something, what has stuck out for you that's been a game changer in the restaurant world that you go, you know what? If we didn't live through what we just lived through, this probably would have never happened. The positives of it. Obviously, we know the negatives. People didn't return to restaurants fully right about, but is there something, a new way of doing things that opened your eyes or made you think about something to do going forward?
Yeah, this whole premise of contactless and sanitation and all of those things have carried through. For example, we have our Taffer's Tavern restaurants. We have a device in there that scans your hands for any viral or bacterial content. If you get a
Right.
red light, you got to go wash your hands again. Those things are staying. They're not going away. We
Right.
have new air scrubbers to keep the air clean and sanitized. They're not going away. We're using all new chemicals and new sanitation practices in the kitchens. That's not going away. And a lot of us have bought new equipment because it reduces, the impact of more contacts and the shortage of labor. We can buy pieces of equipment that can fill that job and provide a more sanitary environment. My biggest peeve on bar rescue, and you know it, Garrett, is filth and dirt and getting people sick. Post-COVID, there's no question we are a more capable industry with regard to sanitation practices and keeping people safer. That's, I think, the good byproduct out of this.
Do you think menus go by the wayside and everybody just use QR codes, or do you think that's still a work in progress?
I think menus will stay, paper menus. I do. I think that QR codes will stay as well. And I think that as an industry, we'll give people an option. It's interesting. Years ago, Gallup did a study and they said to customers, how do you want your dinner special communicated? Would you like it printed in the menu? Would you like it on a blackboard, or would you like it verbal? 97% of customers said they like it on the menu because they like to look at it, blah, blah, blah. But yet 65% of restaurants did it on a blackboard.
Right.
So we got to listen to our customers, and we got to understand that giving them a choice is a good thing. Why not give you the QR code, Garrett? Right? If that's what you want, buddy,
right, exactly.
Give it to you. And if the person you're with wants the printed menu, why not give them the printed menu? So, I think both are going to be with us for quite a while.
Now, I'm sure you've been in this situation many of times, but getting to meet you for the first time, I think we've all been there where we're sitting around with our friends and the words, hey, let's open up a bar come to mind. And, everyone goes through the names first because that's the easiest of the process. But when someone approaches you with no background whatsoever, they just have that pipe dream of opening a place. Do you just automatically go, I'll be straight with you, don't do it? Or do you go, hey, if you're passionate about it, go for it?
I would say if you're passionate about it, go for it. But listen to this. Bars are like football games. Vince Lombardi once said, I never lost a football game. I just ran out of time. If you have enough money and you open a bar, Garrett, you can weather your mistakes. By the third or fourth month, you'll start to figure it out. You'll figure out how to make money. Where bars blow it, where rookies blow it, is they open their bars and they run out of money in a month or two before they learned how to make money. So if you don't have the knowledge, have a checkbook so that you can cover your mistakes along the way.
Or look, a rich friend, yeah.
or correct. So I would never tell somebody not to pursue their passion, but don't get in the bar business because you love hanging in bars. Get in the bar business because you love the business.
Yeah, well, I mean, being from New York and now living in Jersey too. First in New York, there's plenty of bars, especially on Staten Island, that are pains in the asses that I would love for you to just come in and permanently shut down. Personally, but that's just me. And they know who they are too if they're watching this. And then I live in a town called Westfield, New Jersey.
Sure.
There's no bars. There's one bar. It's like a wine bar. It's an old man bar where literally the people have their names on the plaques sitting at the bars are actually sitting at the bar. Like that, for me as a younger guy, that's our only bar in town. Like what are we to do? Like what's someone as a customer? How do I get the town to go? How do we get a bar for people to enjoy and go watch a game and sit down and have some good food and not feel like we're sitting down with grandma and grandpa?
I think you have to have a hashtag we need a bar in and develop a little social media campaign around it. The bars that you describe are anti-new customers.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If you sit down in that guy's bar stool, even though he's not there, the other customers are gonna scorn you for it. So, the old people push the new people away. So the bars never move on. We call it the club concept. Nobody wants a new member.
Right.
So a guy like you is not welcome because you're not one of them. So,
I know. I can't sit in Richie's seat.
Exactly right. So you need a bar in a community like that. You'll like this guy. The second public building ever built in America was a bar. The first was a church. And it was the first meeting place. We didn't have city halls or hotel meeting rooms or any of that those days. They were called public houses. And they were the centerpiece of the communities. And they were built with things called snooks, little half walls between the tables. So the priest could sit in one snook and a bunch of loud drunkards could sit in the next snook and they could coexist because everybody came to the pub. It's where businesses were done, marriages were created, businesses were created. So when I hear that your community doesn't have something like that, that's unfortunate. It should, because it could be a great centerpiece of the community.
And I think I just gave you a new show concept to look into. Your town needs a bar.
Yeah, that's a funny concept too. Yeah.
Well, John, thank you for everything. Thank you for the enjoyment and giving me the hope that one day I could own a bar and I know what to do based off of watching many seasons of you. New season of Bar Rescue, Paramount Plus. Congratulations. And I'm ready. I know you've been on Staten Island before, but I would love to ride shotgun with you and let's just go and shut down those bars.
Well, I'll promise you this, and I'll make a note. We ever come to Staten Island, you'll do recon for me, buddy. Okay.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, sir. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations, and talk to you soon.
Nice to talk to you, Garrett.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
C100.